Good morning. Right. Yes, today's a lovely day. It's Tuesday morning. What is today's date? The 15th of June 2021. Time is 30 minutes after 10 a.m. And I'm gonna do video number 12, I believe. If I get it wrong, please I apologize, but I believe I'm right on track. Okay, so we're gonna do a different thing today. We're still busy with a series of a Solution Explorer. 2 more projects to go and then I'll be done. So these ones, they should be relatively short and simple and sweet. Okay, so I'm gonna come to this when I do in fact we should do it now, but before I start, I'd like to make one thing clear. It's my disclaimer. All opinions that you hear me saying, all the things that you hear me saying are my opinions, because I'm quite aggressive on certain technologies, so I use my own opinions. This is nothing to do with a certain technology or a company that's responsible. It's me as a developer that has a strong opinion. So this is nothing to do with having to favor one over the other or anything. Okay, cool. And when I keep on saying that I'm a clean developer, I mean to say that I'm an organized developer. So substitute the word clean and with organized developer. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now we're gonna do something very quick. So yesterday, or the previous video, I think it's video number 11, I was doing platform specific project, which is iOS, Xamarin iOS. Okay, so now we're gonna switch gears. We're gonna go to WPF. So I'm left with 2 projects to cover and I'll be done. Then we can dive deeper into certain functionalities and features. If you like it for me to show or to schedule how a particular functionality works in detail, not just in UI, but the code, every reference all the way to database, please down on the comments write #request. Tell me exactly in detail where would you like me to focus, and I'll be sure to make a video, if not schedule the video for you to expedite the process, because I'm gonna move randomly when I'm done with this series. But this was a very critical for me to do what these projects are all about with regards to identical docs. So today we're gonna do should I do the library or WPF? I think we should do the library first. Let me explain why. We should do the library first because the library is then being referenced in WPF. So both of them are targeting .NET Core. So let's start with the library. Set as a startup project. Let's give it a second. There we go. And then speaking of this, I have this article I want to bring to your attention. It's .NET MAUI. It's announcing .NET MAUI preview number 4. It was released on the 25th of May 2021 by David. He's an incredible guy. Please check him out. This app, I want to bring into attention why there is WPF and then there's a library. Okay, so let's do the first thing that we usually do to check the properties. Okay, so this is a class library, right? But it's targeting .NET 5.0. It's not .NET framework, it's not Mono, it's not any other framework, it's .NET 5. Okay, and here it is, target framework. Now this platform shared or the main brain of Xamarin, it's a different, it's a class library but targeting a different framework. So let's talk. I need to know, because this now it's new. I need to know. I wanted to reuse in here this project. Is it possible? Because then I need to justify why I have this class library. And the reason why I'm doing side-by-side comparison is because what's in WPF library, it should be exactly what should be in the MAUI application, except for the views and other things. Okay, because the views are going to be different, but the logic of the models, services, some of the utilities, if not most, validators, view models that are needed in WPF library. So hence the question comes in, can we? Because if you look at this project, dependencies project, it's referencing WPF library. So is it possible that I can reference Xamarin? Let's do that. Add project reference. Because I'm going to talk about this class library before I get into details. And please note that this project is not complete because I was still busy with it, and then school demanded a lot of my time, my focus, and everything. Okay, so let's see if this is possible. You also, okay. Is it something that's possible? And now we have some question marks. And then there's a change that was to be made. And I intend to do a series of version control, why you should not do stuff like this, but also why you should do them in a safe environment. Because currently I'm on, if you look at this branch, not you, this branch is a YouTube branch. That means it's a branch for me just to test, you know, and then play around and be silly and all that. Okay, so it seems like things were resolved. So we're gonna do a live, some sort of test that can the WPF work with this project, because I need a lot of things and I will explain why. But for now, I'm gonna remove it. Okay, I'm gonna remove it. And then we have to make sure that the changes are not gonna persist on the solution on this project, since this project is affected. Okay, but that's something that's very interesting. I'll talk about why. So let me just undo the changes. Please, in the meantime, like, share, comment, subscribe to this channel. There's some goodness and juicy stuff on this content because we are learning. Again, just a reminder, this is for somebody who has some sort of an idea of wanting to build an app. It can be a mobile, it can be a web, it can be a system with a database. That when I say we go through a lot, you need to make heavy decisions. And then there are not only the benefits, but the repercussions to every choice that we make. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So now everything is good to go. Okay, it's gonna reload again. So let's come back in the context of MAUI. So I'm gonna now zoom into this image. So this project, they call it the Weather 21. It's a demo showcasing the goodness of what MAUI now can do as a framework that evolves from Xamarin.Forms. So currently my app is using Xamarin.Forms, but now they're introducing something completely different. But it's an evolution from Xamarin.Forms. Okay, so we know that Xamarin.Forms target Android, this Android version. It targets iOS, we know that, and also UWP. However, speaking of UWP, they kind of like have rewritten, I believe, my opinion, that instead of it targets UWP, it should target WPF, but they're calling it WinUI, Windows UI. So this is WinUI, and it's incredible. Not only just that, in a Mac environment or Apple environment, on a Mac, they call this project Mac Catalyst. That means it's a desktop for Mac application. This is a desktop for Windows application, Windows operating system, desktop application for Apple operating system, or Mac operating system. Yes, Mac operating system. Yes, Mac OS. So does it make sense? And we have other bunch of stuff. So this is now the thing, is a future of mobile development. In my case, I can either continue this direction, because the problem that we're trying to deal with is that, can I reference this guy in this project? That's the main question, right? Okay, so because I wouldn't need to do any of these things, that whatever I write in the shared code or the shared project will also be for WinUI. In my case, I believe it's WPF. Okay, so we know what it targets, and we're done there. We're not going to be long because I haven't really did a lot. I was trying to replicate what's in here, so we're going to do a little bit of a comparison. Now, please pay attention. Dependencies, analyzers again. Yeah, I keep on saying I don't know what analyzers are, and I don't intend to do a research. If need be, I will. Now, frameworks, this is .NET Core and Windows Desktop, yes, for WPF. And then packages. So far I've added Fluent Validation and Newton Soft, and you can see that I don't have all the dependencies that are on shared project for Xamarin. Okay, but they need to be in there. You see now it's like I'm violating principle of dry. Do not repeat yourself in programming. So this is tedious, it's a problematic, but I'll show you how far along the things I did. Okay, let's talk about the models. I replicated everything, literally. If you look at this terms of service model, and then it's for shared project in Xamarin. I also have a terms of service, but this one is for class library for WPF, and then that's where the problem is. But in order for me to make use of the goodness that I've already did, I don't have to think of the logic, if you will. I just have to reuse what I have. It just is targeting a different platform altogether. Does it make sense? Please let me know in the comments what you think, how this should best be resolved. Yes. Okay, because I wanted to do a version of desktop application. Okay, so this is what we have, and then I'm gonna open this one. So I don't change anything. It's literally the same, similar. Let's give it a second to spin. Okay, why there's a sudden change now? Okay, so let me bring this guy downstairs so we can do it's supposed to be side by side. Yeah, it can still be side by side comparison. Okay, you see row height, startup underscore invisible. It's literally the same. So this is, I feel like I'm violating the principle of dry in programming. Do not repeat yourself. So the Net MAUI comes in and solve this. So if you are thinking of going to Xamarin.Forms, you should, but consider waiting for, well, you can continue. Microsoft promised a way to port transition, upgrade, but you're gonna move from Xamarin.Forms to the Net MAUI. They're promising a tool that they're still busy working on right now, but you should consider going this way, because what I did with Xamarin.Forms, it's too much, it's heavy. So these are the things that you should think of. There should not be any changes. Okay, so I'm not gonna spend too much time, but to promise you that it's literally the same, because I didn't change anything. I'm just using the power of version control to discipline certain things there, not to make mistakes. Like I can't just write row height for window. No, it needs to be row height and then row height, so that I don't struggle with certain things internally. Okay, don't save. Okay, cool. So like I said, I'm not gonna be long here. It's literally the same thing. Let's look at the store session WPF. Aha! I think this is gonna be critical. Aha! I'm glad. Now, store search for Xamarin. So we have this object position. It in fact comes from Xamarin.Forms.maps. If I hover, there we go. That's from this package. Okay. So the problem in the WPF, when I bring these things, that's why I have to bring one class at a time and create a commit, because it says to do used to be this guy. Then I had to comment out. So you see the trade-off. You see now what I still have to struggle and deal with. So I'm trying to tell you that before you think on say, no, I'm gonna target this platform, really look at what you're gonna need to do to make some sort of a trade-offs, because if you're gonna compromise, how are you gonna get the position? Okay, firstly, it's like, how are you gonna address the topic of maps? How can you get the maps in WPF? Can you still get the maps from Xamarin.Forms? Is it possible? Because the package it's not meant for that. So you do a bit of research in order to deal with stuff like this, because then they're costly. So there are so many things that I believe that they require Xamarin goodness, or all the packages I have in here. So it's one of the things. I don't know what else. Services. Okay, let's look at prices. Now that one is good to go. Service type, that one's good to go. Ink model, some of the things are good to go because they're just properties, no specific object tying them. Okay, so but there are certain things that are quite costly, and then that's a problematic. Okay, application user model should be straightforward thing. Okay, so that's a model. Then when you come to services, now this is where the real hassle comes in. So services, now upload, I'll show you another issue. There we go. So you see, I used to have file picker. It's a plugin. We know that from the NuGet package. I used to have Xamarin Essentials. So temporarily now they have to be commented out, and every code that was gonna make use of either of these namespace or the packages, now it has to be commented out, so it won't work the way it's supposed to work. One example is when I post the actual document, I can't use the file data because it comes from this library file picker, and then I can't use it the same thing. I can't use that. So you see now that means it won't work. That's why I had to comment out for sake of keeping the errors away. Another one is this one where I cannot do certain things because there are errors. So those are the issues with how I designed, and I knew I was gonna bump into such issues, but I still went ahead to that because I'm still waiting for a solution. I'll find a way, okay? Because then I have to focus on how do we pick the files in WPF. It's easy, and I just swap this. Okay, so these are the services, and then utilities. I don't think there is anything. You see, when it comes to utilities, I don't have certain things I used to have, like renderers. Yes, I don't have renderers in here. So yeah, but I can bring the fonts. Normally, I just need to know how to wire the fonts, you know. But yeah, basically, it's practically the same thing. What could not get in here, like I left it out. The routes, I don't know why I left the routes out, but we'll have to investigate. Oh no, Web API, here they are. I redesigned the architecture. You see now the proper way of doing it, because previously I cried this class should be Web API routes _ v1, and then I still need to rename it, but I can't just rename it because I'm still busy now teaching, and then it needs a specific commit for it, and I have to rename all the references. But in WPF, then I changed it to be correctly, and I moved these guys into their own folder called Web API. Good. So that's those are the utilities, and then validators. Let's check for writing the feedback. Are there any issues? No, because we have a fluent validation. I just don't know if it's compatible with the WPF, but we'll just have to find out because I haven't tested this thing extensively. Okay. So those are the services that are the same as what's in shared project. And then version updates only in 2021. What I did, which month? In March this year, introducing the version update system for this project. Added Web API URL class. You see, added a Web API routes _ v1 class, a specific commit, because you understand when I get to version control, when I tell you do not do something, please don't dump too many commits. Speaking of that, you might get into stuff like this. This is .NET MAUI on GitHub. There are some things that are failing, and then I'm not interested in seeing what this guy tried to merge that failed, but there are so many things that if you need to investigate, it's going to become a problem. I'm going off the script a bit to touch young on version control system. You see this commit failed for whatever reason 7 hours ago. So this is the main .NET MAUI repository in GitHub. So it failed by this guy. He knows, and it will show also with the status that it's a private. It doesn't affect all of us in public. In public they are passing, but private they move a lot of things around. So what I'm saying is, don't just create multiple stuff in one single commit. It will cost you. It will severely cost you. So I believe I'm done, because like I said, I'm not done with this project, but I think I moved to almost everything that's necessary from this project, except for the views. They are not supposed to be in there. But what about the view? Oh, now topic of the view models. They cannot move, and I'll tell you why. Because they need to be in WPF, the actual WPF, but we'll talk about why there's a view models. Obviously, this is a class library, we don't need the views, but the views are supposed to be in here. So we'll talk about that next up. For now, I believe, yeah, that's it. Please, make sure that you understand what you're about to do. The decisions are costly that we make as programmers. You're going to be working for a certain company, for a certain employer. You're going to cost that company, that person a great deal if you don't do your own research and keep up with technology, because I did this before I knew there's .NET MAUI, but I did not take a look at what it's offering, and is there something I need to go through speaking of .NET MAUI, because I intend to do something here? No, but I'll do it in the next video. I think it's a video number 13, 12, I'm not sure, but the next video. So stay tuned for that. Thank you. We are done.